Hello and welcome to Homeschool Together. Thanks so much for joining us again. We're back with our Around the World Journey reviews, and this time we were in Central and Eastern Europe. Kind of did a big kind of amalgamation of a lot of countries.
Right, yeah, this was just more of a regional study. But this was really great. And there was a few challenges we want to talk through. But first, let's get started on what we focused on.
Yeah.
For us, we have family heritage from Hungary and Poland on your side of the family. And so we really focused on that for this study with our daughter and just talking about the areas that our families came from and some of the traditions that they brought with them from those countries. And so what we really want you to know is just to lean into your heritage. If you have some offshoot of your family that's got heritage from a certain country, to bring that into your study, it makes it so much more real. And our daughter really appreciated the countries I don't think she would remember otherwise, except that it's like, oh, that's where great grandpa's family is from. And so I think that made it a lot more real.
Yeah, growing up speaking Polish in a suburb of Detroit, that's about as real as there as
That's
you get.
right.
Yeah. So and then we also leaned into Marie Curie out of Poland, really popular. Have a couple great books to recommend for you. So. And her being kind of this budding STEM type of girl, so it was really nice to see kind of this female struggle, Nobel Prize winning kind of mega star. It was a kind of a great one for her to kind of latch onto. First, to start off with a little bit of math. Paul Erdős out of Hungary, real famous mathematician of the 20th century. Very cool book where it kind of goes through a lot of his idiosyncratic nature of how he grew up, and he was kind of very focused on math, just addicted to it.
And he wasn't great in school, which I loved. They talked about how school just didn't fit for him.
But also he was a very...
And so he was homeschooled?
He had very strange relationships. He kind of moved around a lot, did a lot of math for other people, did a lot of publications. I went and did a little bit of a YouTube dive because he lived until I think in the 60s, maybe early 70s, I think late 60s. So there were videos of him actually speaking. So it was really nice to kind of read the book and then watch a couple of YouTube videos of him, being a person. A lot of times with these books and these recommendations, these are people who passed away already, so it's really nice to actually see somebody who's somewhat contemporary where we can have some audio and video of that person. So it was kind of a nice video.
Yeah, this is the Torchlight recommended book for this week, and we really loved it. This is a great one. Our daughter asked to read it, I think 2 or 3 times. Yeah. So we both got a chance to read it.
You had to read it, and then she begged me to read it to her as well. So
this was a really good book if you can find it from your library.
Absolutely. And let's talk about a couple of the Marie Curie books.
So this is the Little People, Big Dreams series, and this one is
Ordinary
from
People,
the Secret Museum series.
If you remember last week, we did the Da Vinci one.
Book.
That was this, and this is the same thing. This is a PBS show as well, right?
Yeah, it is a PBS show, which is really good. So these were both good books on Marie Curie. I'm not sure which one we really liked more.
This one was more playful. This one was more, I think the artwork was a little bit more artistic. So this is if you got somebody who likes playful, kind of cartoony drawings, and as you can tell, it's very, very comic, cartoony. This is more of not more of a serious take, but more serious with respect to this one. So
right, I think either one of them. If your library has either one or both of these books, we would recommend them both. They were really great.
Yeah, the Big Dreams book. I think there's a series of other people as well.
Yeah, this Little People, Big Dreams. There's a whole series of books, and we'll be doing another one next week when we talk about Russia.
Oh yes,
so
absolutely. So Marie Curie.
Great books from Marie Curie.
Ukrainian story, Circo and the Wolf.
Yes, this is a Ukrainian folktale with really great artwork. This is about why wolves howl and dogs bark when wolves howl, and it's a relationship between dogs and wolves, and it's just got great artwork, and it was a really neat story. There's a lot of books for Ukraine, so this was one that we could really enjoy together, and our daughter really liked it. So if you're looking for a folktale from this area, I would recommend Circo and the Wolf. It was really good.
It was fun, just as an aside, talking about Ukraine, I actually worked with a lot of people from Ukraine and saw them in my previous life, and so it was nice to talk about certain towns and people that I knew. So it was kind of a fun little segue. Belarus, I actually had people who I worked with in Ukraine who were born in Belarus.
Yeah, so
back when it was the Soviet Union. But yeah.
So this is How Mama Brought the Spring.
Yep.
It's a really cute book. This is about a girl and her mom. I think they live in Chicago maybe, and she's lamenting that it's winter, and her mom is reminding her how her childhood in Belarus and how her mama would bring the spring by making these amazing blintzes. And so it's just a really loving, warm book. Our daughter really enjoyed, and in the back there's a recipe for blintzes if you want to get into the food a bit. So
Absolutely.
this was a great one, I think, for Belarus.
Yeah, since Curie was Polish, we also have Frederick Chopin. Again, same series of books that we've been recommending
from Scholastic.
last few, I think, videos. We've been leaning into this. Great for the artists, great for the musicians. You can pair it with the music as well. So I pulled up a bunch of videos of people playing the music, and because in the writing, it talked a lot about how amazing he was at piano, and how some of his unique cultural heritage came through some of the songs. And so we were able to actually pull the reference songs off of YouTube and actually play them while we were reading the book. It was a nice pairing, and I think I'm going to start doing that when we do the composers. When they reference the song, I'm going to start putting it on the YouTube. So it's a nice way to kind of dovetail it together with kind of the experiential and then learning about the composer. So
yeah, this is a great series. There's tons of books for Europe, some
Absolutely.
For America, a little bit for South America, but that's really where it ends. So as we move into Asia, we're going to have to leave this series behind, unfortunately, because we won't have these anymore. But for the countries that they apply to, they're a really great reference.
Absolutely. The Exploring Countries books, which we have been recommending
these are the blast
months.
off readers. Any of these early readers are just great. These are the ones our library happened to have, but whichever ones your library's got, I would definitely recommend getting them. It's just basic information about the country, told in an engaging early reader style. Yeah. They're all good.
Yeah, I read the Ukraine one. We didn't get to the Croatia one.
Yeah, I'm sure
we didn't have enough time to kind of like touch into the Balkans, but we did. We had it if we wanted.
All these books are good though. We recommend them all. It's just a great light introduction for your kids. So this would be good if you're looking to have your child do like an early book report type thing or a country report. So if you have a slightly older child that could read this, maybe a first, maybe second grader could read this, then they could do like an early country report or something. These books would be fabulous resources for something like that.
Absolutely. You wouldn't want to be in Alexander's Great Army. No, I wouldn't either. So
we read this for Macedonia, or North Macedonia now. Yeah. And it's a really fun look. This is also a Scholastic book, and it kind of takes you in the perspective of what it would be like to be a soldier in Alexander's army, and what your day would be like, and being on campaigns with him. And it was a bit above, it's not a kindergarten level. I'd say this is probably more geared towards like second to third grade level. But our daughter did enjoy it, and it's got that great cartoony style and some humor, and she did learn a bit about it. But this is a great series, and I think they have them for a bunch of different ancient civilization type topics. So you can look you wouldn't want to be blank. There's a bunch of those kind of books.
Absolutely.
We really liked it.
Honorable mention, the Golem's Latkes.
Yeah, this is Czech Republic, and it's a story about a rabbi who creates a clay figure of a golem, and he just keeps making latkes until the whole town is like buried in them, and everyone has to have a big party and eat them. It's got really good artwork, and it's based on a popular story. There's lots of retellings of this one.
Yeah, the whole like overdoing it, town gets buried as a kind of a folk tale that we've seen come up a couple times.
Yeah, we have. Yeah. This was good, and we really liked it. I think it's kind of more of an honorable mention. If you have time for it, I think it's a great one. Otherwise, I don't think it's like a necessity for Central and Eastern Europe.
Because we were going to so many countries, it was hard to dive into them all. We definitely, leaned onto our Rick Steves videos.
I feel like we sound like a broken record, but
as we're going through Europe, you might as well.
These videos are great. We watched the one all about Poland with our daughter, and that was really great. It started out in Warsaw, and then they went to Krakow, and he did go to Auschwitz, and so that was very interesting. One of the things that kept recurring in all of the videos was there's a lot of influence of World War II in all of these areas, and so that was just something to be aware of, that we had to talk with our daughter about what that meant, and a bit into what the Holocaust meant in terms of a kindergartner could understand. There's also huge Soviet influence in this whole area, because a lot of it used to be in the USSR.
Yeah, not a lot of books. I mean, it just really feels like the last 30, 40 years that they've gotten all these books coming out, and I don't think these books would have been printed 30, 40 years ago. So.
Right, there's a lot of book material. We really enjoyed watching the videos, but there was a lot of kind of like political things to explain. We had to kind of explain what it meant when they were part of the Soviet Union, what communism was, the Holocaust. There was lots of like bigger topics in this area that we had to try to like pare down to what a kindergartner could wrap her brain around. So know going into this that you might think about how you would present that to your learner. And if you're going to have a child who's very, very sensitive, you might want to just plan how you're going to tackle some of these. And like I think the biggest Holocaust reference, Rick Steves' video, is Poland. So if you don't want to cover that this time, then skip that video for now until your learner's a little bit older. But just wanted to give you a fair warning. Otherwise, the Rick Steves videos are wonderful. We watched Poland and Romania, and we watched one all about Ukraine as well.
Ukraine,
Bulgaria. There's a bunch of really great videos, and they look like wonderful places to visit. So highly recommend all those videos.
Absolutely. And again, referencing what we said at the beginning, if you have some heritage that's in Eastern Europe, dive into that country like we did with Poland. It was just, I think, a good experience, and maybe can help you navigate a lot of countries that maybe don't have as much content. You can actually just dive into one country and then just let your heritage come through. So next is food.
Your mom wanted us to make the Polish heritage. His mom wanted us to make stuffed cabbage, and he just about was like, he has bad childhood memories of stuffed cabbage.
No, I have childhood memories of coming down my grandparents' house in Detroit, and I can go one of two ways. I can go to the Polish section, or I can go to the Italian section, where I can eat my grandma's great spaghetti sauce, or I can have the stuffed cabbage over here. And I was always going to the left. Always going to the left.
So we would not make the stuffed cabbage with grandma, but we did find a fabulous recipe for Polish potato pancakes that the kids really loved.
Oh, they were really good, actually.
Served with applesauce and sour cream, and the kids really loved trying them with the different dips.
And then kotlety.
Yeah, so it's a Ukrainian chicken meatball, but it's like you make a meatball and you flatten it, and it's chicken and spices.
It's actually really good.
They were excellent, guys. They were really good. So I'll post the recipes down in the show notes below this video. But yeah, we really enjoyed the food. So we did that all in one meal. This is a hard time to cover, right? You got to cover a bunch of different countries and try to make them somehow distinctive. And our learner is young, so we just tried to pick some highlight areas, and she'll remember the food. She'll remember us talking about your Polish heritage, talking about Marie Curie, and that she wants to visit Romania so we can go to Dracula's castle. That was what she was all about.
Should have pulled on Bram Stoker's and started reading it. No.
So it was a really good study of Central and Eastern Europe, even though it was a fast study, and I'd love to be able to dive into this more when our daughter is older and we can really kind of get into more of the culture of a lot of these countries, because we just didn't have enough time, honestly, to get into everything. But
absolutely.
Next week we are on to Russia. So stay tuned as we'll talk about that. And
we're going to eat well, we're going to listen to really good music, and we're going to read Tolstoy.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to listening to lots of Tchaikovsky next week.
Yeah, I think that'll be the big
thing. We're going to have a good time with it. So stay tuned. Come back here for Russia.